President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, they are traveling to Georgia today to talk about voting rights. Good for them. Should have been talking about it, so there's an emphasis on it. Let me highlight the nuances. Joe Biden plans to use a speech in Georgia on Tuesday to throw his support behind what? Changing the Senate's filibuster rules to allow action on voting rights legislation, calling it a moment to choose democracy over autocracy. But some civil rights activists proclaiming themselves more interested in action than speeches say they plan to stay away, and some groups are actually protesting the appearance of President Joe Biden. And others are saying, wow, why are you protesting? He said he's going to give you the Voting Rights Act and he's going to dismiss or stand against the filibuster to do it, but he hasn't done it yet. So protesters keep protesting, okay? It has not been signed, sealed, and delivered. There's more. With the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer setting up Martin Luther King Jr. Day as the deadline to either pass voting legislation or consider revising the rules, Biden is expected to evoke the memories of the US Capitol riot a year ago in more forcefully aligning himself with the effort. Now, we've been talking about this for a very long time. We've been talking about not just suspending the filibuster for some things. I advocate to get rid of the whole damn thing altogether. It is rooted in a racist core. It has been utilized to stop progress in this country as it relates to the progress of black people in particular, but disenfranchised groups connectionally. It has done that in this country. You cannot point to one significant piece of legislation where the filibuster was used and we all look back and we say, well, I'm so glad we had the filibuster as it relates to progressive policy, okay? Now, there are some moves on the table that President Joe Biden has not made. Let's highlight those. Biden plans to tell his audience the next few days when these bills come to a vote will mark a turning point in this nation. So far, Democrats have been unable to agree among themselves over potential changes to the Senate filibuster rules to allow action on voting rights despite months of private negotiations. Now, what does that tell us? That tells us that Democrats are not even on the same page. You're not going to get Republicans. We don't even have Democrats who are on the same page. Shame on them. The John Lewis Voting Rights Act should have been passed. They promised it. They said, if you give us Ossoff and Warnock in these runoffs, we got your back. If you give us Biden, we're going to do it. Has it been done? These debates ignore the most important argument of all. What is that? All of this was considered by the framers in drafting the US Constitution, and the Constitution comes down squarely on one side of the issue. The Constitution is governed by the principle of majority rule. The filibuster, which appears nowhere in the US Constitution, violates that principle. Unfortunately, only the US Senate and not the courts can correct that. So while they continue to hide behind the parliamentarian, which by the way, Republicans don't do, parliamentarian rules against Republicans, Republicans dismiss them and hire another one. They've already done it twice, okay? While they hide behind these rules and procedures, let's be very clear. There are moves on the table in order to push the ultimate agenda. You know, the nuclear option, there are senators that have used that before to get other people through. So let me get this right. We have gone the nuclear option, which is the 51 vote rule for people. I'm talking about cabinet members, Supreme Court justices. We have used that option in the US Senate. We have gone nuclear for people, for a person, for an appointment. But we won't go nuclear for the whole damn country. The math ain't adding up. Attorney, what are your thoughts on this one?
I think the reality is that they just won't go nuclear to end white supremacy, because we all know the filibuster has been a tool of white supremacy and keeping oppression alive. And you know what? I'm tired of the performative antics, I think we tried kind of thing. It's like there are options out there, as you've noted, that could be taken if they truly wanted to dismantle and to shut this thing down. But the fact is that they don't. So it's just everything we continue to see. They're just jokes and they're playing in our faces. But let's not pretend that if they didn't want it, that it wouldn't be there.
I agree 100%. And at some point, Democrats are going to have to learn how to use power. They know how to get it. They don't know how to use it, how to keep it. Republicans on the wrong side of damn near every issue, according to Americans. When you go line by line as to what Republicans believe in and what those who lean left believe in, Americans are on the side of left-leaning policies, top to bottom. But somehow Republicans still have massive power in our political narrative. It's unfortunate. Democrats are going to have to get on board and actually deliver something, or they are going to get whooped in this midterm election and the presidential cycle.